camp stream. My name is Mercedes Clarke. I'm Division Manager of Community Engagement.
And I'm Cecilia Pham. I am the Senior Community Liaison for the Community Engagement Department here at the Houston Public Library.
Great. Just a little bit of housekeeping before I start the recording. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and then we will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to start. The recording has started already? Okay, it looks like it's already started. So I will go ahead and click to the next slide. Okay. All right. The Houston Public Library Community Engagement jump into the stream. Again, my name is Mercedes Clarke. I'm Division Manager of Community Engagement Team, and Cecilia, my co-host here, she's the Senior Community Liaison for the team. We are part of the Houston Public Library system. Our mission is that we link the people to the world. Our vision really is that we are a vital member of the dynamic and diverse local, national, and global community. And our slogan is linking you to the world. So, all right, see, what had happened was in 2014, the community engagement team and the programming team from the Houston Public Library were in a conversation, a telephone conversation, and we were trying to figure out how.
Do you think? No, I'm not going too extravagant.
Okay, I won't say anymore.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay, a little interruption there, sorry. All right, so what had happened is that we were on our phone call and we were trying to figure out how the outreach team, okay, it would be really nice if everybody could mute themselves.
So if you're going out, it'll be on your left. Okay. Good to see you.
All right.
If your mics are on, please mute, because we're hearing all your conversations.
Yeah. Thank you, Cecilia. So, and I lost my train of thought. All right, so we were on the phone with the programming team here at Houston Public Library. They were planning their summer reading program, and we were trying to find ways to support their program. And so the outreach team, which was a fledgling 3-year-old team, decided, okay, let's have some programming to help launch the summer reading program. And that soon became, from that limited programming and helping them out, soon became a week-long Monday to Friday summer camp. So we were going to help them kick off the summer reading program with a free summer camp for kids. And it was held at our central library, which is our flagship library. And at that point, like I said, we were just about 3 years old. So it became something much bigger. And then we realized, dang, what did we just agree to? We had quite a few things that we've gotten ourselves into. First of all, we only had 2 months to plan. The conversation happened in April, and we were launching this camp in June. And so we knew we were under the gun. The other thing that was a challenge to us was that there was only one school district in the city, the Houston Independent School District, that was out that week. So all the other districts still had classes. They were still holding classes. So that was a challenge. The next one was, well, it was April. We were in the middle, towards the third, fourth of the end of the budget year. So we had no money, no funds allocated for this type of event. So that was another challenge that we had. And of course, since we were an outreach unit, we didn't really have supplies stashed away somewhere in a closet, right? So everything that was needed to run the camp, we were really short on. So we started cold calling, right? We started cold calling for donations, really. And Cecilia is going to talk to you a little bit about how that happens a little later, but so we had to get on our phones to see how we were going to get funding for this camp and pull it off in 2 months. So originally we started offering just that one camp at Central, but that soon became something in demand. And we extended it to 4 other libraries that were our regional libraries. So now really we were down deep into it, 4 other locations. So that was the challenge that we had going through. So the goals for this camp, the goals for the camp were really provide equity and access to the content, right? Because this was a camp that was being launched for lower to moderate income children. We wanted to attract new customers to the summer reading program and also to camps. And then bring STREAM to the kids, which is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and math. So that's where STREAM comes from. And of course, prevent summer slide, which happens so often with kids going into the summer recess, right? And of course, we want to make it fun, safe, an enriching environment, a welcoming environment, because we are holding these in our public libraries. And then, of course, again, bridging that divide and you know, increasing access and equity to our youngsters.
Okay, so after all the planning went in, getting the supplies, there's a whole host of logistics. We are a very large library system. We have about 36 locations. So we are wanting to make sure that the locations that we were at for these first camp, especially the first few years, you know, we wanted to rotate locations, making sure we're going to all the different corners of Houston, so to speak. If any of you have ever visited Houston, you know that we are a very large city. We're a commuter city, so getting from one side of a city to the other side of the city could take an hour without traffic. And so we didn't want to have patrons that wanted their kids to attend to have to travel too far. So we made sure that we had locations, library locations that were kind of in the 4 corners of the city, so that we covered as much territory as we could to give our patrons that choice of having their child be able to participate at a library location that was near their home or their work. Of course, each library location is different, if you can imagine. Some libraries are bigger than others. Some libraries are older than others, older buildings, older facilities, older furniture. So those are things you all have to consider. So we do site visits. We make sure we look at our library locations every single summer. We make sure we know what their spaces look like, their room capacities, what their parking lot looks like, and making sure that we fit our program in the spaces that are in that particular library location. Food, of course, it's an all-day camp from 8:30 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. So we make sure that the kiddos get breakfast, lunch, and a snack before they leave. So we have a great partnership with the Houston Food Bank for many, many years. They have been our main food provider for our camps. Volunteers are wonderful. We bring in volunteers. We also bring in contractors to help us run these camps. As the years go by, we've gotten bigger. We've hosted more locations, and it just keeps getting better and better as we move into our 10th year next year. So we're super excited about that. Transportation is also important for us. If you ever want to do a summer camp and include field trips, you have to consider transportation, the liability for that, the releases for that. We happen to be very lucky, since the Houston Public Library is part of the city of Houston. We are able to leverage our fleet, the City of Houston fleet and have our reservations for their passenger vans and so forth and so on. But there have been some summers where we've actually had to carve out funds to be able to rent buses, actual buses, and have those be the transportation, the mode of transportation for our kiddos' field trips. Next slide. So as I had mentioned a little bit about funding, this is super important. We are a public institution, a city institution, so there is always a fight, right, to fund this program. We have wonderful partners that come in as in-kind donors or monetary donors, and without them, we would not be able to pull off this camp with the very tight budget that we have in our department. And so we are so blessed to have these wonderful partners and organizations that come in every year to support our camp. Our communications department does an amazing job at making sure our camp is publicized on social media, in the library branches themselves, and have flyers that we are able to hand out to events that we are participating in or are going into schools and teaching a curriculum. When we do our own personal outreach in the department, we have these wonderful flyers and postcards that we give to the teachers and to the schools to share the love about Camp Stream, since it is a very wonderful camp that's a week long and it is free. So we definitely want to encourage low to moderate income families to sign their kiddos up. Capacity, of course, as I had mentioned, every library's location branch is different. Some are bigger than the others, so we make sure that our capacity that we sign children up for each camp, it changes per where we are sitting. And of course, when you have a lot of kiddos all in one place, you know, you have to put structure and you have to put rules in place so the kiddos will understand expectations and all those that are expected of them during the week of camp that they're with us, so that when we do take them to field trips midweek, they are on their best behavior. And of course, we don't have time for everything. So we always feel like we're running around crazy during the week of camp. We are actually currently in the middle of one of our camp weeks here. This is our third week of camp here during this summer cycle. And so I happen to be sitting at one of our lovely buildings here at our young library branch. And they've been gracious enough to host us this year as one of the camp locations. Next slide, Mercedes. All right, opportunities. We definitely encourage the kids when we do our lessons with them that, hey, these are fun things that if you never thought about a career in engineering or a career in the arts or math, these are some of the things that you would be doing in real life in application with these activities that we are sharing with you. If you think this activity was super fun, well, imagine that this is actually a mathematical type of activity that requires a lot of math involved that's really fun. And so we definitely encourage kids to get into the STEM side of careers. And we definitely want them to be able to encourage them to further learn, check out books in that field, and go explore further online. We have plenty of online resources for children to learn during the summer that's engaging and active, and on top of our summer reading program. So definitely during camp, we want them to be able to know that they can continue the fun online without us after the week of camp that we have with them. Next slide, Mercedes. So here's one of those cool pictures of one of the activities we did for science. And you can imagine that we get a lot of these aha moments with the children, and that what makes camp fun for us every single year. Not only do we get to share some really cool activities that the kids didn't even know was very science-based, but we also get to bring out some amazing partners that come in and do presentations for us and teach kids things like healthy eating. Shakespeare, we have a wonderful partner that comes in and teaches the children about plays and acting in plays, and they get to even quote unquote practice those dramatic moves when you see on stage for Shakespeare. So if someone stabs you with a sword, how do you fall? So the kids find that super entertaining. And we always have a big party at the end of the week to celebrate the kids' learning, to share what they've learned with their parents. It's our end of the week party and ceremony. We give our kiddos a certificate and a little bag of goodies. And we have pizza. We serve pizza. What kid doesn't love pizza? So we have a pizza party for lunch. And if they didn't like our Houston Food Bank meals throughout the week, I tell you, they definitely love pizza on Friday. We never have leftover pizza. Oh, Mercedes, you're on mute.
The parents also have a lot of fun seeing what their children have done during the week.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it's a great way for the parents to see a video, which we will share with you. We always create an end of program video, which the parents love, and they always save it every year. And that shows their kids being silly during the week of camp. Of course, we always are super grateful to our customer experience staff, which is the staff that are at the library branches. They open up the library early for us. They make sure that we have things like trash getting taken out, helping us during lunch service, helping us with children getting dropped off and picked up every single day, and making sure we have what we need in their building to support camp during the week. So without them, we would be at loss. They are an amazing partner in this process. And we try not to have the kids go run amok too much and drive them crazy, because we want to get invited back the next summer. But we do appreciate our customer experience staff very much for offering their time and their building, and of course, turning their lives a little bit upside down for a week with about 100 kids in their building. Funding, like I had mentioned earlier, funding is super important for camp. We have wonderful partners that come in every year, and our banner partner for many, many years is Powell. Powell Foundation comes in and funds pretty much the majority of the funds that we need for camp when it comes to purchasing supplies, making sure we have all the materials that we need to teach the curriculum. We try to have all our curriculum be activities that kids can take home, because I think being a kid, to be able to do an activity and go home and show your parents what you learned, and having something like almost like a souvenir for that activity at the end of the day is always what makes the kids really happy. One of the activities I know this year that we did that the parents aren't too crazy about is our bouncy egg, which we basically get a raw egg and then we put it in vinegar and water, and we kind of do this whole science thing with it, and it becomes kind of a rubbery consistency, but it has a very strong vinegar taste, smell. So if you open the container, parents get that really strong whiff. But another one that the kids really love that we do this year is pickles. We're teaching them how to pickle vegetables, what's the science behind pickling, and they get to take home their own homemade pickles. And so the parents also have stated that they think the pickles also taste very tasty too. So it's one of those wonderful projects that the whole family gets to enjoy once the kids get to take those projects home. Other funders in the past for us has been the Texas State Library and Archives.
Right. In the past, we've also had.
Yeah, TSLAC, Community Development Block Grant, which is our CDBG, wonderful funding from our Houston Housing Department. They help us a great deal because they give us funding so that we can hire contractors to really pull this off every summer. HPL Foundation, they are wonderful. They find these in-kind donors that give us these wonderful gifts that we can give the children at the end of the week during our camp ceremony. And of course, our lovely city of Houston for supporting us with allowing us to do this all over the city. those in-kind donors that our foundation, the Houston Public Library Foundation, has supported us in getting wonderful gifts, like the Astros Foundation. They give us Astros baseball tickets. Who doesn't want to take the kiddos to the baseball game? Whataburger certificates, so the kids can get a kid's meal at Whataburger. Same with Raising Cane's, Sugarland Space Cowboys with more baseball tickets, Chick-fil-A, Museum of Fine Arts Houston, the Houston Parks and Recreation Department, the Houston Food Bank, and so many more partners that come in and make this a wonderful, wonderful experience, and something extra that we can kind of give the kids on Friday. We also,
And it's important to mention that we didn't start with all these partnerships.
right.
These developed over time, and every year we were able to bring in a different partner thanks to the Houston Public Library Foundation. We were able to add onto our list of partnerships.
Definitely, it's something that we have built up in the last 9 years. Next year is our 10th year, so we plan to really blow it out and really be special next year. We're looking forward to even redoing our Camp Stream logo for the 10th. So we're super excited for next year. And we are going to be inviting more presenters as well. We have these awesome presenters. So Museum of Fine Arts comes in and does an art activity with our middle schoolers. We have Urban Harvest that comes in and does a presentation about growing food and about healthy eating. And then Common Threads, which actually comes in and does recipes with the kids and teaching them how to prep meals that are healthy and easy for even a kindergartner to actually do if he or she wished to do the recipe at home. And this year, for the first time, we had the Houston Ballet come in and actually go through a ballet scene, and whole show kind of collapsed in an hour, where they showed the foreshadowing and the acting and the dancing. So we're super excited to have wonderful presenters join us every summer, and adding new ones as the years go by.
And then let's not forget NASA. I believe they've just been added to our group too.
Yeah, NASA has been our presenter for the past couple of years. This year is their 3rd year with us, and we love them. The kids love seeing the activities that NASA brings out, and also all the stories. You know, we have we had one speaker last camp that actually went on a mission. She was here, doing her presentation on how it felt to be on the space station, how it felt to do her experiments up there, and being able to photograph images from the space station of Earth. And so she was lovely. She was great. The kids were so excited. They really didn't want her to leave after her presentation. They had so many questions for her.
Oh my goodness, our field trips.
Yes, our field trips. One of the things that we consider it a privilege, a perk for our kiddos, is field trips. And we kind of change them up, but we do keep one field trip that we are consistent, is our K through 2nd grade field trip. We always take them to the Houston Children's Museum, because we know that a lot of those kiddos haven't gone before, and we know that they're going to have so much fun, because we can let them loose in the museum and let them go ham and touch things. There's nothing in the Children's Museum that will break. They're allowed to touch everything, so they love it. And so we look forward to taking them to different field trips every year. And of course, as I had mentioned earlier, our end of camp party, it's a wonderful way where we have wonderful raffles that have been prizes that have been donated to us, and then we raffle them to some of the children that win those raffles to them as an extra perk. Of course, you have to have perfect attendance, right? You have to be in camp Monday through Friday to be able to qualify for our raffle. So that encourages not only the children, but the parents to make sure their kiddos are attending camp throughout the entire week to qualify for the raffle. And what's next? As I had mentioned, our 10th year is next year. Super excited. And one of the things we are excited about is doing our new logo. We're going to have a new logo rolling out to kick off our next decade, we hope, of Camp Stream. We've also added an arts camp, which we will start during the week of spring break here in Houston in March. And so we are excited to do that for the first time. And we have so many partners. When I mentioned about doing this arts camp, they were thrilled to be a part of it. I didn't even have to like bribe them or twist their arms or anything. I was like, I'm doing an arts camp for a week. Are you on board? And they're like, yes. So it wasn't very hard at all to
And
get
we will be launching that. Aren't we launching that during the spring break, probably in the
Yes.
spring? Mhm.
We're going to launch it in March during spring break. So we're super, super excited. We're also from the request of educators and some parents and some of our own librarian staff. They really would love to see our curriculum be more in line with TEKS, which is the learning curriculum for the Department of Education. So we definitely are going to do that. We're going to make sure that that summer slide, that what we teach kind of links all in really well with the curriculum the kiddos are going to learn the coming year. And of course, the learning cycle, which is right here on your screen, where we want them to be engaged, we want them to be exploring these things, explaining and applying all this learning is what they're going to do. And we hope they will take what they learned during our Camp Stream camp and explore in the library, explore what the resources and the access to databases and resources online that we have for them. And then be able to transfer those skills, whether it's public speaking for their presentations when they get older in high school or college, or during their interview process when they're doing their first job, or learning about a new career path that they might not have considered before coming to our camp. So we really encourage kids to kind of broaden their minds. And this is one of our new videos that we created this year. Our camp at Blue Ridge Library was our first camp. Is that right, Mercedes? That was our first camp?
Yes, that was our first camp.
That
Yes.
was our first camp.
And here goes the video.
Here's
So
the
people can
video.
see.
What a fine day for science!
More fun than a pillow. Got beautiful white lines on his chest. Oh. Come on. In my head.
All right. I think we're running out of time here, but we do have the QR code in the presentation I imagine will be available later on through Library 2.0. So I guess what we can do is, if you have any time for some of the questions. All right. Okay, let me see. Did the workforce staffing the program include unionized library labor? If so, how did labor management discussion about? Okay, well, we are. You have to remember we do have a labor union here. However, the Texas state is at will. So I don't believe that we function the same way as other labor unions in other states. So I can't speak to that. We did not, however, have to have any conversations with our labor union for anything in regards to the conditions of working. So, I couldn't really answer that question very well, other than to say that it's the way the labor unions work here in Texas are very, very different than in other states, I imagine. What is the approximate cost of the program, Cecilia?
So our banner funder has been funding us at the same amount for many years. It's $50,000, but we don't just use money from the PAL Foundation. We do
Right.
have wonderful partners for CDBG that pays for our contractors' salary, in a sense, pay. And then we have a lot of in-kind donations that we bring in. So for instance, this year I got a donation from Costco for $300 so I can get water and juices for the Friday party for the parents. And so, you know, we make it happen.
Right. I would say that right now, between the 50,000 that Powell gives us, some private funds, and the CDBG funds for contractors, we're looking somewhere around 75 to 80,000 for 5 camps. 6 camps, I'm sorry, 5 of them in person and 1 virtual. Okay. All right. That's all the questions we have for now. So, and I think we're maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes over the time limit.
Well, real quick about the end of video program, everything is done in-house. We don't pay anyone to do anything. So our staff actually does the videos. We shoot the video, pictures, and we put it all together in Final Cut. So we all do
all the marketing is done in-house. Marketing's done in-house. The curriculum is developed in-house. And all of our community partners and presenters are pro bono. So yeah, that is a secret for sure. Labor is always, you know, labor and the contractors we bring in that sometimes are teachers from the school districts who want to do a little bit of work with kids in the summer. They're the ones that we do have to pay salaries to. However, everything else is pretty much, you know, other than the supplies, the presentation, the curriculum, and the marketing is all free.
Yeah, and we start our cycle every year around Christmas because that's a slow period for us. So we start planning around around Thanksgiving time, and we make sure everything is all buttoned up by I would say March.
Here are both of our emails and the link to our outreach page where you can see Camp Stream. And a little bit of the breakdown of the groups and how we do that, you know, the groups from K to 2, 3 to 5th grade, 6 to 8th grade, and 9 to 12. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. And I am sure that this presentation is not only recorded, but that the slides will be made available too.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
so
you
much for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.